Welcome to today's webinar where we are reviewing the updates to the DNN Partner Program. I am Clint Patterson. We definitely appreciate your time today. We know that your time is valuable and we appreciate you spending some of that time with us. We're going to go through the webinar and we'll have questions at the end. If you have questions at any moment during the webinar, feel free to ask those questions in the GoToWebinar software. And like I said, we will get to those at the end. I am, again, Clint Patterson, Ecosystem Manager here at DNN Corp. And we've been working hard on the updates to the partner program, and we're ready to show these to everyone. And I want to introduce you to Matt Hofstra, who is the VP of Strategic Alliances. Matt has been around DNN for a while. Back when I worked at DNN the first time and was a sales engineer, Matt and I did a lot of demos together. So Matt, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Clint. So again, my name is Matt Hofstra. Been with DNN almost 4 years now. So I was part of our legacy team. I believe that we were on version 7 when I joined, and I joined as a sales rep. I've met many of you over the years, but certainly not all of you. And I've moved since then into working more with our partner channels. And so looking forward to spending some time today talking about the partner program and the revisions that we've done based on feedback from the advisory groups. So a lot of what we'll go through today is based directly from input and feedback that we've collected from folks in our ecosystem. So if anybody here is not involved in any of these ecosystem advisory groups, please do reach out to either myself or Clint. We can tell you how you can get involved. There's a few different ways. And one of those happens to be kind of the direction of our partner program. So I'm pleased to meet each of you and looking forward to spending the next hour talking through the 2018 partner program.
Yeah, and you may be wondering, why is Clint and Matt both doing this webinar? Well, so Matt and I are both working with the partner program. Matt is going to be more on the front end where he's going out and actively recruiting partners and working with partners as they onboard. And then once you become a partner, then I will kind of hold your hand from then on out. So that's why we're both here today.
Yep. Yeah, and with that, wanted to share kind of when we went into this process, it was important for us to be listening to the ecosystem. And we wanted to set kind of some overarching program goals that gave some direction to the decisions that we were making and the input that we were collecting. And one of those, the first one is growth and diversification. So as Clint mentioned, my role is going to be more around growing the program and recruitment. And one of the beauties of DNN is we've got such a diverse ecosystem. We want to give representation to all the different types of partners that DNN has inside of our ecosystem. So we've got some great examples of implementation partners, hosting partners, ISVs, training partners, and the list can go on and on from there. We want to make sure that we're, as an overarching theme, we want to give representation to the variety that we have inside of our ecosystem and do everything that we can from the corporate side to highlight those partners that are making a difference inside of the ecosystem. So growth and diversification, a major theme in how we were considering this new partner program. And second to that, merit-based enrollment and participation. So one of the things that you may have heard if you're listening to sound bites from our CEO is that we want a smaller corp and a bigger community. And I think in previous partner program iterations, it was a little bit weighted in favor of the corporate side. We want to change that, and we really want to say, let's focus on where our partners are strong. What are the competencies and what can we highlight on our website, et cetera, and make participation in our program not based on how much commercial license sales you're doing, but really what are you best at? What is your business built on? And how can we bring that into a broader visibility across the corporate side as well? And so participation and enrollment is going to be based on merit and not based on, I think, sales for commercial licenses. And we also want it to be simple to understand. So when we go through the presentation today, I don't think we're going to need the entire hour because it's a pretty simple program. We want it to be that way. So it's very clear in how our partners can participate and how they can navigate from one tier to the next tier. We'll get more into that in a bit. We also think it's important to highlight and promote partners that are doing particularly excellent work. And so we've historically done a Partner of the Quarter and Partner of the Year award. We want to expand that to do more promotion and more recognition for our partners that are doing excellent work in the ecosystem. And then finally, and I think last but not least, we want this to be collaborative and iterative. So we're going to take you through a presentation today of the partner program that's based on feedback that we've gotten through collaboration with our ecosystem. But we're not going to say that this is done today and there's not going to be further changes. So we want to continue this feedback loop where we've got a program in place and we're collecting feedback. And we're never going to have a program that everything works for everyone, but we do want to get as close to that as we can. And that only happens by collecting feedback from partners like those of you that are with us today. So again, I want to highlight, if you're not active in any of our advisory groups and you would like to be, please do reach out to Clint or myself. We've got a few different ways that you can be involved, and we really do want to encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities so that your input can be included in the partner program and other things that we're doing to help try and grow the community.
Yeah, Matt, that's a great point. And again, our overarching goal from the top, Andy said, make this simple and transparent. So if you are familiar with the partner program previously, what you're going to see today should be a lot more simple in nature. So as far as the roadmap, so we're currently in phase 1. So when we look at the partner program, we envision this in 3 different phases. Phase 1, like I said, is now. And some of the updates that you're going to see, and these are just kind of highlights, are the removal of partner fees, right? So when I rejoined DNN, one of the first things I did was call a lot of our gold level partners or email with them and reach out and get feedback. And, it was just obvious that, hey, we shouldn't have to pay a fee to be a partner. And so that is one of the things that we are removing. You don't have to pay DNN Corp any money to be a partner because we're not trying to make our business off of fees from partners. So you'll see that as part of the presentation. Also, some feedback we got back from the current partners was that you guys, or DNN Corp in the past, had encouraged partners to sign people up and get them in the platform or in evoke essentially. But having them stay there, they weren't rewarded as much. So by that, what I'm saying is new business versus renewals, there was a different percentage margin that the partners were making, and they were like, this just doesn't make sense. So what we've done is we have leveled out those margins. So when you see the text there, level margin for new logos and renewals. So whatever you get for signing up someone, a new business, you'll make the same as you will for a renewal. And then also, Andy instructed us, he said, hey, make selling DNN more attractive than selling any other solution. So we increased those levels as well so that they will be higher than if you were to sell other competitor CMSs. And so again, a lot of that feedback was coming, from Andy, but also from our current partners. So again, we're trying to be open and transparent and include feedback, from all avenues to make this partner program better. We also updated the enrollment and participation criteria, which is probably the meat of our webinar today. And then we redesigned the website directory so that, well, the website being the DNN software website. So the partner directory listing is going to have a new look that you'll see here shortly. So phase 2, we want to implement the ecosystem points. And if you're not familiar with the ecosystem points system, it is just where we are essentially tracking participation. So if you are answering forum posts or answering questions, writing blogs, but even things outside of DNN software, things like making a pull request on GitHub or answering questions on Stack Overflow or speaking at a DNN conference or speaking at a non-DNN conference or hosting user groups, anything that's essentially adding value to the ecosystem, we want to recognize you for that. And if you are an organization or a company and you have, let's say 5, 10, 20 employees, well, your organization should be acknowledged or recognized for the contributions that your employees are making. And so the reason that this is a phase 2 thing is because this is going to require some code updates on our behalf at DNN Software, which we're already in the process of getting those done. But we're, putting that to phase 2 of the partner program. And so what that means is you will, as a partner, the more you contribute to the ecosystem, the more prominence you're going to have within the partner directory listing, and you'll see that as well. And then phase 3, which is obviously Q4, what we're targeting, that would then allow the ecosystem points to span to the store. So that is, if you are posting products or even leaving ratings or reviews in the store, then that again is activity within the ecosystem that we feel adds value, and you should be recognized for it. But as the store is a different site, that again is going to require some technical updates on our behalf at DNN Software to do that. So this is where we are. We're in phase 1, and this is kind of where we're going. Again, we're trying to be open and transparent and communicate where we're going with the program. And also, again, this is based on feedback from the Partner Ecosystem Advisory Group and from Andy and DNN Corp. So I just wanted to mention that.
All right. And so now getting into more of the detail today, one of the overarching themes that we mentioned early on was growth and diversification. And again, one of the most amazing things about our ecosystem, I've seen this firsthand, is just the different skills and competencies that so many of you have. And we want to take time to highlight those in the relationships we have inside of our partner program. So we're moving from focusing only on implementation partners, and we've got a ton of great implementation partners. So this is not to minimize those implementation partners, it's to supplement and complement them with some of the great work that the rest of you are doing. So continue to give representation to our implementation partners and those doing work with customers to build out websites and different initiatives. But we want to expand that as well to 3 other categories, and there may be more than this. And again, since this is iterative, if we find that there's more types that we need to add, we can do that. Out of the gate here, we're going to do implementation, hosting partners, so our partners that are hosting DNN websites and have great competencies there. Our independent software vendors, those of you that are selling modules inside of our store and supporting DNN customers with applications outside of the store as well. And then also our training partners. So we've got some folks that are doing great stuff on the training side, bringing that into our DNN customers and our Evoke customers, making sure that we're giving representation to all of the categories of partners is going to be important to us in 2018 and beyond. And then inside of that, the idea of having levels. So those of you that have been participating in the partner program for a long time are used to hearing us talk about silver and gold certified partners. We're going to change the vernacular a little bit based on feedback that we've gotten from the advisory groups, and we're going to make it a little more granular. And so the levels that we'll have going forward are registered, standard, and advanced. Seems to be a little bit more common in the other programs that folks are participating in. So 2 things here. One is that we want to grow organically and through diversification, and then also create a little more granularity inside of our partner levels as well. So those of you that are currently participating as a silver or a gold partner, we'll have a grandfathering program that we'll get into later. We'll introduce that, but want to make sure that we're giving representation to all of the great work that's being done inside of our ecosystem today.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And also, creating a program that caters to all the different partner types and make sure it's fair, it is very challenging, right? And so, what we've created, again, in conjunction with the advisory group will hopefully cover all those bases. I just wanted to mention that. Now, when we talk about the partner types will have competency areas, right? And when you see this slide, there is a lot of text on it, but understand that these are not in concrete. We can add competency areas that make sense, but for implementation partners, we'll have competency areas of theming, integration, development, e-commerce, intranet, SEO, and Evoke. And that SEO one was one that in the initial partner program we designed, we got feedback saying, hey, you really need to add SEO. I think it may have been Jason Stone at Engage who said that, and so we added that in. For hosting competency areas, we're going to have obviously DNN, but some hosts may have Azure or Amazon specific knowledge, as well as security. And again, we can add these in as we need to. For ISVs, we've got obviously themes, modules, providers, language packs, integrated applications, and security. For training, theming, administration, development. And you may wonder, like, how are these going to come into play, and how are we going to know that a partner really has this competency? And you'll see the star at the bottom that says partner competencies are verified by the partner program leadership. So that is Matt and me and anybody from our team that we bring in to verify competencies. So let's say that someone tries to sign up and they say that they are an implementation partner that specializes in e-commerce. Well, so we're going to set up a meeting and we're going to have a conversation. We're going to want to see their e-commerce implementations. We're going to have some technical questions. We're going to really verify that they have that competency. So that we can keep the ecosystem accurate with the listing of the partner directories. And when we get onto the partner directory, if someone is looking for a partner, they could easily come in and say, I want hosting with Amazon, and then they will see the partners that have those competencies. So that's where these come into play. And again, we will be verifying these with each partner.
Right. And yeah, I think to follow up on that, two bullet points. One of them you just highlighted, Clint, but really this all starts with what is the customer looking for when they're researching who a good partner fit's going to be for them. And we believe that these categories and these competency areas are really what's important to a customer looking for the right partner. And so, this can certainly expand over time to additional competency areas and categories, but it's really focusing on what the customer's looking for. And for those of you that may fit in multiple categories, there's certainly accommodation for that. So if you are a hosting partner, but you've got some applications that you've made available as well, you could certainly be in the hosting and the ISV categories. And the customer will have a way to have visibility into your business based on what their needs are with the directory that we'll introduce you to here in a little bit. But certainly start with the customer, but also want to make sure that you guys understand you can fit into multiple of these categories.
Yeah, that is right. That's a great point. We early had feedback that said, what if I am a ISV, but I also offer hosting? Like Matt said, well, you can be listed as both types of partners. All right. So next. So Matt, this is your slide, but I'll just chime in and say this table or chart you'll see it kind of repeated through each partner type.
Yeah, so we're really getting down into the details. We talked about this being a merit-based enrollment and participation. This is really where the merit comes in, and so there's a few different types here, like we talked about, of levels of partnerships that a business can have. And so for this category of implementation, we'll do a quick read through. Again, if you have any questions on this, please do type them in, and we will address them at the end of the webinar here today. And so reading left to right here, registered, standard, and advanced are the criteria for participation. So public DNN sites, it's as simple as having, if you have 5 DNN websites that you can point to, you can get started in the partner program. Standard would be 20, advanced would be 30. And then moving into case studies, and this is really in the interest of promoting our businesses. So one of the things that resonates the most with customers looking for a partner is, what are your case studies? What have your customers said about the work that you've done? And can we take a look at that and see if that matches what we need as a customer? And so we're going to give our partners an opportunity to publish case studies through the corporate website, something we've not done in the past. And this is not in our interest. This is in the interest of giving credibility and some background into each of our partners' work that they've done. So for registered, we're not requiring any of those, but if you, for participation at standard and advanced levels, you would need either 5 or 8. And again, we would publish those into our website. We'll give detail into how we would collect those from you in a few minutes and kind of what the format would look like. But that's going to be part of the merit-based participation.
Yeah, Matt, Matt, I would jump in and add, these online case studies, our content marketing team, Dennis Shaw, you guys, a lot of you know him, but these case studies, we will help promote. We're going to be, socially sharing these just at random, right? Whenever there's good content that's relevant to be shared, we will be sharing these case studies. It'll be like throwing, gas on the fire, so to speak, in order to add credibility and just, have a constant flow of, hey, look what DNN can do. And we'll, indirectly be promoting the partners by sharing their case studies. So it's just kind of like an added benefit.
Yeah, and if you don't have these case studies ready to turn over today, which we expect that most of you don't, there's going to be a grace period where we'll bring you into the program, and then within 90 days we can collect these from you. We want to make it easy to be a part of this program. So if you don't have the case studies today, that's fine. There will be a period of time where you can go and collect those, and it won't impact your status as a partner.
Yeah, and we are envisioning those case studies to be submitted as PDF. So you don't have to think that you have to create some, I don't know, very in-depth. I mean, we want it to be good, right? But when you submit, there'll be PDF case studies. So, and then also, just I want to add in, some people may look and say, man, you only have to have 5 registered sites and a DNN logo on your site, or 5 public DNN sites. You may think, well, man, that's pretty low, to be a partner. Again, this is directly coming from feedback from all directions, saying that it should be easy, it should be straightforward, it should be simple to get started in the partner program, and then obviously you work your way up. So sorry to kind of jump in, Matt, but go ahead.
No, you're fine. Please go ahead. We're only requiring evoke or support plan sales for the advanced partners, and at that we've lowered the bar for that part. Customer references, nothing to participate for registered partners, and then 4 or 6 for standard and advanced. And these are going to be customer references that we can publish inside of each of our partners' profiles on our website. Again, to give credibility to each of your businesses, and for customers coming to the corporate website to be able to get a glimpse into your business and understand kind of the work that you've done. Sponsoring a conference. So early in the presentation, Clint talked about we were waiving partner fees. And so we want you to stop giving your money to us and invest in the growth of the ecosystem in your business. So we would ask that instead of paying DNN was it a $2,500 annual partner fee, that you take and you spend some of that money on sponsoring one of our conferences. So we've got DNN Summit that we just had a great event back in February. We've got DNN Connect coming up in May. And so I think there's other events throughout the year as well. But we ask that you take some of that money and sponsor these conferences so that we can build kind of some momentum and groundswell inside of the community.
And that's Matt, I can't help but jump in and add here. So the conferences, if you go to a conference, you leave feeling energized and motivated, right? And the more sponsors we have at the conference, the better the conference. So, from the standpoint of someone who has helped organize and host conferences, I think this is going to be great because it's going to make hosting the conferences easier. But we're doing this to drive ecosystem. And this feedback actually came, it wasn't, from me, it was, I think might have been J.R. Brooks that managed, or someone in the hosting side was like, we shouldn't have to pay to play. Let us reinvest in the ecosystem, require these sponsoring of conferences. And so that is what we're doing, and it's a great idea. Now, what you'll notice for the implementation partners, it says any level at DNN Summit or DNN Connect. And so when you see the words any level, I mean, the lowest level I think we had at DNN Summit was like $250. So that's, not a ton of money. So that would check that box for you being a sponsor. But when we get into the other partner types, you'll see, I think for hosting, we require you to be in, one of the upper tiers. But again, this is, going to as a reinvestment in the ecosystem. And then obviously from our side, we're able to easily verify if you have sponsored a conference, because obviously your logo would be on the conference website. So this one is one I'm kind of most excited about. Yeah,
Clint loves the conferences.
Yeah, and so I saw one of the questions popped up saying, is this, once a year? Yes, so it would be, annual. So like every year we have a DNN Summit, we have a DNN Connect, right? So DNN Summit has already passed for this year. You can't go back and like sponsor it. So we understand, we'll have to have some flexibility in this initial year, but, moving forward, it'll be annual. So yeah, every year.
All right, and then almost done with this one. Simple request from our side is that you put DNN partner logo on the site. We'll provide the resources for that. And then moving down now into the evoke and support plan percentages. So if you're reading this as a current partner, you can read the standard line as silver and the gold line as advanced, and kind of grandfathering program that will put into effect. And we've increased the percentages to try to encourage our partners to take more from their DNN work. They've gone up by 5%, and listen, 5% isn't a huge amount sometimes when you apply that percentage to the dollar. But I think what we really want to get across here is that this is an example of DNN trying to give back some and more to our partners. And so we're going to apply this percentage not just to new logos, which is what we've done historically, but each time that you guys put in the work to bring in a customer that renews, the same percentage applies, and I think that's very different. So on the new business side, there's a slight increase on the percentage. On the renewal side, there's a pretty significant increase on the percentage, and this is really meant to demonstrate that the corporate side of DNN is interested in growing the community side of DNN, and so we hope that you guys can enjoy a little bit of extra money in the bank account. And then on the lead distribution, if you are participating as an advanced partner, DNN Corporation invests heavily in marketing. We have customers coming in that want to talk to us about our commercial CMS platform. They want to talk to us about support. Many of them need some type of services to go along with either their support or their licenses. So whether that's, again, an implementation partner, if they need somebody to host, if they're looking for modules to add on, or they need someone to help them get out of the gates with some training, we are more than happy and actually excited to bring that business to our partners. We don't build custom applications here at Corp. We don't do training here at Corp. We do very limited hosting here at Corp. And we do no implementations here at Corp. So your participation, this is critical to the success of our DNN partners. And so with those leads that come in and we're working with on the corporate side, we'll share those leads and bring in partners that are participating at the advanced level to take some of that business as well.
Yep, good stuff. So we will now go to the next slide, which is hosting. So, this table looks very similar to the one we just talked through. So we're not going to talk through every single item, but what you'll notice as being different, and again, this is coming from feedback that we heard from a lot of our hosting providers, is that, hosting providers are going to offer email support, right? So that, is kind of the baseline. But then, as you move up the chart from register, standard to advanced, you see it offers 24/7 support, via phone. And that actually has to be like where you can, talk to a human, not like an answering service. And then again, you have the customer references. You've got online case studies and the published backup strategy. So the published backup strategy actually came from feedback from Mitchell Sellers from Iowa Computer Gurus, saying like, listen, big time hosts will have a published backup strategy that's readily available on their website. And so that was one we put in the advanced category. And then there again on the sponsor conference, you'll have to sponsor a conference, but for host, you have to be in the top 3 tiers. So you can't be just like I don't know what the wording would be, but maybe like a platinum, gold, or title sponsor. You'll need to be in those upper levels to be advanced. So it seems like in the hosting world, the support and backups and security, those are kind of the differentiators. And so, that's what it's going to take to get into the program. And then also, I never considered that a hosting company might sell a license of Evoke or support plan, but apparently it does happen sometimes. So hosting companies would also get that same margin that is increased, if they do sell a license of Evoke or a support plan. So, this again is the criteria, and we're going to be sharing all this on the website as well. So you don't have to like screenshot or try to memorize everything. But this is the criteria for hosting. All right, Matt, I think this one's you.
Yeah, so moving into training, we've got some fantastic training partners out there. Many of you have done work for us already. Again, want to give representation to those of you that are helping folks learn in many cases, for the first time, how to use DNN effectively. And so we've got accommodation for, again, registered, standard, and advanced partners. Pretty basic participation here. One of the things that's very important to folks learning DNN for the first time is, can they do this training on demand? And in a lot of ways, having public and private DNN videos is a way that customers can come in and learn really in real time, and as their need arises, how to leverage technology. And we want to make sure that the training is on the most current versions, and that there's also some customer references to go along with that. So I think the folks that have done some training for us already have some great content, and we want to make sure that we're giving some visibility to that through the corporate side. And then also, same thing, sponsoring a conference. It's not only good for DNN, but it's good for each of our businesses to give that visibility. So we really want to get the ecosystem, the community, and the conferences back to the levels that we were seeing 5-6 years ago. And we believe that we can do that by giving folks like our training partners a voice and some visibility inside of our initiatives.
Yeah, and Matt, I would just add to this, when we started into the training type of partner, we quickly got feedback saying, hey, I'm a trainer, but I don't do all these videos, right? So you essentially have two types of trainers. You've got that online on demand, like you mentioned. You've also got the like in-person instructor-led training, and you'll see the line item there for verifiable curriculum. So if you are a trainer, you've got some type of curriculum that you're going through with your classes that you're teaching. And that's why you see the sub point that says like, hey, if you have a verifiable curriculum, then you don't have to have all the videos, right? So we're essentially catering to two different training styles, the instructor-led and the on-demand live videos. So that's why you see that. I just don't want people freaking out saying, hey, I don't have all these videos, but I'm a trainer. We did work that in, again, based on feedback.
Yeah, I think, thanks for highlighting that, Clint.
Yeah, no worries. So next is the ISV, and a lot of times people say, what is an ISV? So independent software vendor. These are people who are making extensions for DNN, building solutions that either are built on top of DNN or integrate with DNN. Again, you've got the logo, and then now the second line, you see solutions built for DNN. So you can think themes, modules, external apps, and we're, segmenting these out by numbers, right? So, you may have 2 extensions built for DNN or 5 to be standard, or any more than 8. So a lot of our premier vendors have, 8+ extensions available. Again, you'll have to have the case studies, and also we're going to start factoring in the vendor reviews. So, our vendors that are successful are also ones who have really good support, and that great support and great product together usually results in good reviews. So we're going to, look at the vendors' reviews on the DNN store, and so you'll have to meet these standards in order to be, registered standard or advanced. Again, published support process, that is, again, feedback from the partner advisory group. Azure compatibility, and then the sponsoring of a conference. So, this is pretty straightforward. You have to have things that are built on DNN or work with DNN, some case studies, and you have to have good support and vendor reviews. So I think everybody kind of gets that one. So the next slide here is the partner directory. So one thing is the partner directory. Well, I guess I should first show this image. It might make sense. So here's an image of what the partner directory is going to look like. Now, we currently have this built out on the site, but we have not published it yet because we are still working with our current partners to get their information over to us. So the first things we're going to do or the next steps, we have to get our current partners there, and then we're going to start with the new partners. But you'll notice you've got these filters, so you'll be able to select a partner by country, by partner level, and also we'll have partner type and those competencies as well. And then each partner will have a tile, and then you can see just information about them, if they're register, standard, or advanced, the case studies, websites, and any of their competencies are going to be here as tags. And if you were to click the Learn More link, you would be taken to the next image, which is this one. And I'm going to try to scroll in here to make this visible. So this will be kind of a long page. But the partners are going to be able to update information about themselves, and we're just using Kenteris as an example here. And you'll have the logo, the same information from the tile. If the partner has a video describing their organization, they can embed the video, and then we'll also be able to list the website. So your 6 most prominent websites will have a thumbnail, and then we'll just list out any other public-facing sites that you submit and want in your listing so that people can see the type of work you do. If you have won awards, your awards will be listed here. Now, someone on the webinar may say, well, I haven't won any awards and I don't want to see a blank section. If you don't have any awards, then this section will simply not show. Also, we're going to list the conferences that you sponsored. So again, we're reinvesting in the ecosystem, and if you sponsor conferences, we want to list that to show your support. And we will go back in time and put these, if you sponsored conferences, years ago, and we can verify it, we will list that as well. Your case studies, again, will be listed here. If you have made any OSS contributions, so for example, Kenteris, they did polydeploy, right? So they made an extension and they donated it to the community. We will list these here as well. And then we'll have a contact form here. So this should be what the experience will look like. And if we go back to this page, and then I toggle back to my PowerPoint. So this bullet item here says partner listing order dictated by revenue in previous quarter. So you may ask yourself, well, why is Kenteris first and SteadyRain and ITX? This listing order is going to be updated and dictated by the number, your dollar amount of Evoke sales in the previous quarter. So you may say, well, what if I don't sell Evoke in the quarter? So we will then randomly organize these up until that phase 2 where we implement the ecosystem points. So at that point, this will then filter or render in order by your ecosystem points. So it's kind of a little algorithm, right? So like if you are selling our products and you're making contributions to the ecosystem, whether it's blogs, pull requests, whatever it may be, all of that's going to start factoring in. And essentially, the more active you are in the ecosystem, the higher prominence you will get in this directory listing. And notice that partners can move up in levels at any moment. So you don't have to wait a year or a quarter. Once you meet the criteria, then you can move up. So I just wanted to give a visual on what the partner directory looks like. And again, we're working now to get our current partners moved over, because you got to understand that the current partner directory is just kind of some text and links, but now we're requiring a lot more from the partners. And so we've got to populate that information. And these case studies aren't going to be like created just overnight. So I wanted to mention that. All right, next steps. Matt, I think this is you.
Yeah, so where we go from here, we'll get to the questions in just a moment, is that we've got current partners that we're going to bring right back into the fold. Again, we've got grandfathering of silver partners into our standard level, and then our gold partners into our advanced partner level. So we'll be actively doing that. And then we are opening this up really more broadly to new partners to enroll. And so we'll go through the enrollment process in a moment. We've got a form on our website that's going to allow you guys not just to pepper us with emails, but to actually have a portal where you go in and you can add case studies, example websites, customer references, etc., through this portal, which will ultimately be published to the directory that Clint just showed. But really, the next step is to move from the old partner program into the new partner program through a series of onboarding exercises, starting with our current partners and getting them set up straight away, and then also opening this registration up to new partners as well, and getting them onboarded. So we're done with the phase one of figuring out what's included, and we're moving on to the next steps of let's build some momentum here inside of the ecosystem, the community, and get folks signed up and ready to go.
Yeah, and Matt, I think again, it may be important to kind of reiterate one of the earlier points you made in that, we are very big on being transparent and iterative on this. So even though we've created the program with feedback from, all different directions, if you think we've totally missed the ball in some area, then let us know. Get in touch with the Partner Ecosystem Advisory Group, or even join the group and say, hey, you guys really, missed this, and we need to update this. We just need to tweak this just this little bit. We're open to that, and so we want to make the program, a good program for everyone. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate that. And so Matt, you were saying let's get to the part about signing people up.
Yep.
So I would like to point to the website. If you go to the partners page and click on the Become a Partner, you'll see we have updated this section, and it says get the process started by selecting your partner type and completing the form below. So what you'll need to do is come here and say if you're implementation partner, you will select that, and then you'll see a form that you need to fill out. And there's just two steps. This is the general partner info, and then the implementation specific. So all that information that we showed in the table, you'll have to complete this in the second step. And for all the websites that you're required, I think we allow uploading of an Excel document. So you're not going to have to type out 30 different URLs or whatever it may be. And that second step is different per partner type. If you are a current partner, do not come and fill this out. We will work with you to get this updated. So don't, we're not trying to task you with more work or whatever. So, but this page is live, and we will be replacing the partner directory soon with the new listing that we showed. But you can go ahead and get started. So just wanted to highlight that, and with that, I think we will go to the questions, which I've been seeing some questions roll in. So the first statement was from Lisa, but she said she's always wanted to hold my hand. I appreciate that. When is 9.2 going to be released? The comment was it has already been released. That is accurate. Thanks for adding SEO. We did that again. That was feedback from the partners. Someone asked, what kind of credentials, accreditation, certifications do the people at DNN Corp have to verify competencies? Well, so that is a good question. So if there is an area where we feel we don't have, that we can't go and verify that someone knows how to do something, like create a theme or an extension, then we will bring in people who do. And if you have ideas about, specific certifications you feel we may need to have, feel free to submit that through that Partner Ecosystem Advisory Group. Next question is, will the public see what makes a difference in the levels, i.e. that you have to sell evoke or support plan to be advanced? Yes, that's all going to be on the website. Like all the criteria that we listed in these charts and tables, we're going to put that on the website here shortly. So if someone wanted to see that, yeah, they could go and look. This one says, do the sales requirements include renewals, or are those only for new license, new logos? So that would be, I don't know, Matt, that's a question for you. I think that's new license and renewals, but I'll let you confirm that one.
Yeah, those will be considered together. So
okay, yeah, so that's right. So the case studies says, what will their format for the case studies be up to the vendor, or what is the format? So obviously implementation partners, they have case studies in various types, right? Some people list them on their website as a web page. Some people have videos. Some people have PDFs. We're asking for a PDF. If most of the time your designer would have designed something for the website, you can just convert those into PDFs and submit those to us. This question says, will Evoke have a transparent roadmap in order for us to align our clients and offer accurate recommendations? Currently, it's been challenging to understand the direction of various Evoke features over the years, which made it challenging to recommend it as a long-term solution or cause customers great challenges due to lack of communication surrounding specific features. So, Matt, that's an Evoke question. I will let you answer that one.
I would say the answer to the question is yes. Our goal is to have a transparent roadmap. We've been hyper-focused in the last 3 months on cleaning up technical debt and bugs. And so before we can do anything into the future, we want to make sure that the solutions that we're delivering today are making customers happy. So yes, the answer to the question is yes, we do want to have a transparent roadmap, and we will. What we are doing and have been doing for the last several months is cleaning up bugs. So we will certainly be in touch with each of our partners as that roadmap unravels. And I think your feedback also would be helpful as well. Anything that you find in your interactions with customers that would be useful for us to be considering for that roadmap, we would love to hear from you.
Good deal. So the next question, I think I already answered it, but it says, do renewals count as quarterly sales? Answer is yes. It says, and I assume sponsoring conference requirement is once per year. That is correct, once per year. It says, can you dig into the Evoke or support plan requirements a bit? The advanced requires 1 per quarter. Firstly, what is 1? Is that a sale of Evoke license for a year? Do renewals count? Secondly, is the requirement averaged over a year, or do we really need 1 per quarter? Matt, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is similar to the questions that we've had previously, which is Evoke or support plan sales. When we mentioned the 1 for implementation partners, it's 1 per quarter, and renewals do count towards that total.
Gotcha. This is an interesting question. So could the sponsor conference requirement also manifest itself as a donation to the DNN nonprofit organization? Example, or e.g., is the DNN Summit Group now officially a 501c3? So DNN Summit organization is a 501c3, and I mean, I guess that's just perspective, right? I mean, when you're sponsoring a conference to a nonprofit, I guess it is a donation, right? But you're still sponsoring the conference. So I think that could be a yes, given that I think DNN Connect, even though they're in Europe, I think they are considered a nonprofit. I know that DNN Summit is. So I think, yeah, you could look at it that way if you wanted to. All right, it says, would you show what each partner qualifies with? How many installs, how many case studies, how many licenses sold, sponsorship level? This would help public see who has more experience. Perhaps someone not just selling licenses overqualifies for everything in advance, but not just selling, or someone selling does not might have enough. Am I reading this right? Yes, so I mean, it gets kind of, the criteria is going to be clearly communicated, and what partners are doing is going to be clearly articulated on the site. So, you know, in your partner detail page, all of your work that you submit will be listed there. And then it'll be up to the people who are coming looking for a partner to, you know, look, because it's kind of like, how does the partner comparison work? And the answer is, you know, we're going to give you the ability to list information, and then it's on whoever's looking at that to do their homework, I guess.
Yeah, I think to go along with that, visibility into most of these areas is going to be through the partner directory that we looked at a few minutes ago. In some cases, like a number of licenses sold, we're not going to put a number on there, but one of the competencies that we listed was for Evoke. So, you know, I think customers that are looking for folks specifically with Evoke competencies will be able to surface partners with that skill. But we're not going to put a dollar value or anything for that particular one. But the rest of them, case studies, number of installs, et cetera, that'll be kind of implied through the submissions that we get from each of you and what's displayed on that partner directory.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thanks for adding that, Matt. Next question was like, I got here late. Is there going to be a replay? The answer is yes. If you registered for this, you will get an email with a replay. Someone says, how do you credit a partner who needs a hosting partner or other partner type to execute their effective use of DNN? I don't know that I understand the question completely, but I don't know that we're crediting partners. It says who needs a hosting partner or other partner type. I mean, most people are going to need a hosting partner and an implementation partner and likely an ISV with some modules for their project. So, and that would just be standard business. I don't know. I may need more insight into that question.
I think this is largely accommodated with the different partner categories that we talked to in the beginning of the presentation. So a hosting partner is a new category that we've introduced with this program. So yeah. I'm not sure, potentially maybe somebody got here a little bit late and didn't catch that bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I am missing that, please retype it differently and we'll get to it in the list. So the next question, and you may be able to guess for who this one is coming from, says, is there any credit for someone who may have led the official DNN training program in the past? I think
the answer is because it's Bill Scroll, absolutely not.
I think we might can work in some flexibility there. I don't know. We'll have to see. What curriculum you still have on hand. But yeah, we will make something work there. All right. How do you verify a curriculum if it is customized to a business need each time? Would each training implementation need to be verified? So it's not that each time you go out to train somebody, we have to verify that. That's not what we're trying to do. Because you're saying it's got to be tailored for each client, but you most likely have a base set of curriculum and then you tweak certain parts of it for the client, right? They're running DNN, but they're using these 3 specific modules or whatever it may be, and then you need to tack on training for those modules. So we would come in and look at the materials you're using for training to verify those. So it's not like you can't go out and train at all until we verify whatever you're doing. No, we just want to ensure that you have your ducks in a row if we're going to list you on the site as a training partner, because ultimately we don't want someone to have a bad training experience, with your organization. Says, are the videos audited at all, or is it just a video counts? So there will be people that try to game the system and have like a 10-second video and say, hey, here's 10 videos. We will go and look at the videos. We may not watch every single one, but we're definitely going to go in and see what you have there. What if the solution count is low, but they're full applications such as an integration platform or e-commerce platform? I'm not sure that I understand that question. It was likely asked in context at the moment, which was 12:33, and I'm not sure when that was.
I think the best way to go about addressing that, and remember, this isn't, when you guys are thinking about these questions, this isn't so DNN can audit you and decide if you're good or not. This is really so customers can get a sense of what are your competencies. And so I'd encourage those of you that do heavy integrations and also do things like e-commerce, note those as competencies. And if you've got any case studies to support those, that's really what customers are going to look for when they're going through the directory. So this is less about DNN doing an audit and a verification and more about how do you want your business to be recognized in the customer's eyes. So we're trying to give you guys some outlets to really put your best foot forward when it comes to customer searches.
All right, another question, which is a good question, says, do ISVs need to have commercial extensions or can they be open source as well? So as you know, we are very much embracing and focusing on the community and open source. So ISVs are welcome to have paid for and free, i.e. Open source extensions. That's not even a question, so I'll skip that one. What about partners who also support or provide OS modules for DNN? That's kind of the same question. Yep, those are welcome. Someone says, I would like to consider partnering with DNN more seriously. Is this webinar available as a podcast? Not as a podcast, but it will be available as a replay, which you should get in your email.
Also feel free to come to our website. There is the become a partner page that we looked at earlier, or you can send an email to either Clint or myself, and we'll follow up with you directly.
Yep, and we've got a lot of questions and 5 more minutes, so I'm going to try to burn through these, so forgive me for trying to go fast, even though I'm talking slow. Will the old community leaderboard points be accounted for in those rankings? So that is a good question. That would be in that phase 2 when we have the ecosystem points. Then we will, expose leaderboards and things like that. And they say for the ISV qualification, that would, well, that was kind of tacked on to a different question, so that doesn't make sense. But the one about ecosystem points, yes. All right, it says, I would like to speak to a rep when I am ready with some specific questions. May I have a name and contact info? Matt, what do you want to say to that?
Yeah, either of us. So you can send something into sales@dnnsoftware.com and it will get channeled appropriately. Also, feel free to contact either Clint or myself directly. My name is matt.hofstra@dnnsoftware.com. So first name dot last name is the email convention, and then it's @dnnsoftware.com. So matt.hofstra@dnnsoftware.com or clint.patterson@dnnsoftware.com. Happy to have an individual phone call with anybody that would like to speak with us.
Yep. So next question is, will you publish rates of partners? I don't think we want to get into that. That is, we don't want to publish the rates of partners. I think that would be in between the partner and the client. All right, will the current awards translate into points in phase 2? I think that is a good question, and we find a way to make that factor in.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point that maybe I had not considered, is that historical awards may be worth points in the phase 2. So
yeah, no, that's. All right, it says the sign-up form does not let you sign up for more than one area. It would be nice to select all you're applying for and then have all relative form fields. That is good feedback, but like we said, you'll just have to go through for each type. So I apologize for that. We didn't have time to make a custom module for that. But we're open if you want to develop one and supply it. All right, what about partners who have been kicked out of the partner program in the past? That is a good question. We probably need to table that one and have a individualized conversation with that one.
Yeah, I think that's probably kind of a little bit of a broad way to ask the question.
Yeah. But, what if you are not a published current partner? That doesn't matter. You can be a partner in the new system. I'm not sure about that one. If we are currently a reseller, do we need to sign up again as an implementation partner? I would say yes for anybody who's a reseller.
Yeah,
go ahead.
If you're in the reseller category, if you're uncertain, feel free to reach out to Clint or myself. Yeah. We may have to go through the registration process if we don't have the information we need to publish to the directory.
Right. All right, and somebody asked again, standard format for case studies, that will be PDF. Is the matrix of requirements available online now? No, they're not right now, but I hope to get those up soon so that everybody can see it. Somebody says, great work, let's make DNN more popular. Thanks. We hope you guys like what we're coming out with, because again, we're building it in conjunction with everybody. Suggest a spoken language in the partner filters. Yeah, so that's a great point. Maybe we should have a competency for multilingual. So that's good feedback. Somebody asking again for download information for 9.2. Is content management, i.e. used in a product, missing from the list of training? I'll have to go back and look at that. I don't know that it's missing, but we definitely need to have that. Someone said,
I think training can get very granular, so I don't think it stops with content management. I think there's a number of areas if we wanted to really segment training into categories. Content management would be one piece of that, but there's probably a list of 20 or so others inside of training that could be touched on.
So I know we're at 1 o'clock right now. We're at the hour. If you have to leave, I would say feel free. There's a couple more questions. I want to try to answer them on this recording for anyone who watches this on the replay. Got a comment that says, great job, Matt and Clint. The new program is clearly in the spirit of Andy's comments at DNN Summit that corporate is smaller and community is bigger. Thanks. We hope that's what people are taking. Says, what is the messaging DNN Corp suggests we take to clients as it regards to explaining, justifying the 35% year-on-year increase in the ebook price? What are clients receiving in return for that example? That is a question for Matt.
Yeah, so we've got some, not to deflect on the question, I think it's a legitimate question and something that's, I think, pivotal to what we're doing here on the Corp side. We've got some marketing material that we'll put in your hands in the next couple of weeks that explains exactly what the difference is. So we've, as everyone knows, been acquired by ESW Capital. They're infusing a bunch of cash. People want to know where that money's going and how it's benefiting the customer. And that's where this comes into play. So we've got some things that we will put in your hands in the next 2 weeks. I saw a draft of some of them this morning that will help with those conversations because it's an important one that everyone needs to be on the same page about.
And we got a good question here. It says the form asks for the URL of the page with the partner logo on it, but they don't have a logo ahead of time. How does that work? That's a great point. We need to give the partner logo. I would say list your homepage or your site. If you're already applying, just list your homepage, and we will obviously get you the logo, and then we can verify it. Someone says, how do ISV partners get test evoke licenses to perform testing? So you just email in and either Matt or I will work with you to get you a trial license so you can do testing. Is there any waiting for large websites with huge user counts in terms of points? Currently, it's not structured like that, but we can look into that if it makes sense. We got some heckling going on here.
I blew up my shoulder playing softball, so I cannot throw a football as far as Clint.
So again, someone's asking about the partner website that shows the logo. Just list your home page for now. Any plans to improve the sales order process? It's always been onerous. That's kind of a side question for this. I would say we want to improve it. Matt, just reach out to Matt if you want to follow up on that. More heckling. Let's see. Is there a way to select a partner in the directory based on specific skills like experience with DNN Sharp modules, Too Sexy Content, or Do DNN Work website, or like the Do DNN website does? So currently there's not the you will be able to select per competency, but the competency doesn't go down to module specific competencies, but that is something we may should consider. So that's good feedback. More heckling here. Can you define each item in the support package, e.g. what is the customer success program? Matt, you want to take that one?
Which one was this again?
So at 1251 it says, can you define each item in the support package, e.g. like example, what is the customer success program?
Yeah, I think that is probably a 20 to 30 minute session on its own. Can I follow up with somebody directly on that? I can't see the question.
Yeah, no, you can. We'll have the list. Someone says, will there be preferred ISVs or a way to differentiate if there is a specific extension type a vendor specializes in, e-commerce as an example? So yes, you'll be able to look for that competency. All right, for ISV qualification for advanced, you say it requires 8+, but those are just small modules. Well, you don't know that they're small. I mean, they could be any size. We have a full e-commerce and integration platform that sells for 25 to 50 days. So if the count is 2, but they're multi-million-dollar applications, does that qualify us for advanced? But I think that would be, like an exception to the rule or a one-off. Like we need to have a conversation about it and look at it. That's also a good question that we can ask the partner ecosystem advisory group to get their feedback on that. I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, it shows that you know DNN, right? But still, we have to have segmentation and standards, and everybody's got to kind of agree on it. So I say that would be one we would raise to the advisory group and see what they come back with. More heckling. All right. Which category would a DNN help desk support company fit in? That is a good question. I would say, I don't know, you're offering a service, but you're not offering a product, like you're not selling a module. I don't know. We need to think on that one. Maybe a good one for the advisory group. Okay, will you have a process to report issues with your partners? I'm working with one of your partners now, and their themes and modules have many issues. So will I be able to report them? Yes, and that's another good point, good feedback that, if we get reports of negative experiences with our partners, then, that may factor into the ecosystem points. But for now, I would say email me or Matt if you're having problems with a partner. Or specific themes or extensions. Says you could put answers to all the questions on the partners page as FAQs. That is great feedback. We could do that. Are we able to register deals? Matt, do they still register deals?
The process has changed a little bit. We've switched up some systems on our CRM. And so I think for the time being, yes, we will. I think until we get back into a new system where they can register these leads directly, go ahead and send those to me for now.
All right. So someone says, how is lead generation envisioned? I.e., how does DNN Corp choose who to refer? So if someone comes in and says, I got a project looking for a partner, right? So we will, again, go by the order in the partner directory listing. But we will also consider things like, all right, does the location matter, right? Because a lot of times people say, I need somebody in the U.S. or in the South or in Europe. And then we'll, figure out what competencies they're looking for. And so we essentially would be working those filters internally. And then we never say, hey, go work with this one partner. We say, hey, here are 3, 4, 5 partners that can all handle what you need, and we make recommendations, and then the partners then compete for the business. So it's not like we're showing favorites, but again, it's by location, competency, and then we will give leads out to the partners that are the most active in the program, which in turn is
it's all through the same type of discovery that we would do otherwise. It's like some customers are going to value location versus competencies, and others don't care about where you are, but they're more about what have you done. And so it's really about asking questions on what's important to this particular customer, because each one values something different.
Somebody says, who gets the commission on the sale when you need to use a current partner to get started but plan on becoming a partner? So, I mean, whoever is the partner that sells the deal would be the one that gets commission. If there's some type of unique relationship, then that would be in between you and whoever the other partner is.
So for those that are new, to the partner program and how kind of the financials work when there's this transaction, is that partners sell on behalf of the customer. So the invoice would go to the partner that is handling the deal, and not directly with the customer. So that may help with that question a little bit.
If somebody says, can a case study in local language, so English? No, we're open to case studies in any language. It would actually, I think, benefit the ecosystem to have them in multiple languages.
Yeah, I would say that if your business has a international presence, that's an area where we would love to expand. We've got a good presence in Western Europe and in the US, Canada areas, but if we have partners on the phone here that are interested and have presence in other regions of the globe, that would be probably a good advantage for you guys as far as location is concerned.
So we got a comment that says, after I skipped the 2 or 3 heckles, it says, awesome new program. I would join that. Good job. Thanks, gents. Nice work. So that's good. And someone says, I'm a small developer working with many nonprofits and charities. It sounds like a lot of your criteria will never allow me to move up in your program. Are you taking into account how I can compete with bigger partners so that I can move up? So, yeah, you can move up. Again, that is based on, participation and the quality of work you're doing. And the criteria, again, is laid out in that table, and that was all created in conjunction with the ecosystem advisory group. So I don't think that our program is essentially like holding you back. I mean, we've got a lot of partners that we're trying to cater to, but if you think there's some way that we can better represent you, then I would say please submit that feedback to the Partner Ecosystem Advisory Group so that we can hopefully help you get better representation. Someone is asking that Ralph Williams do a rap. I wish he would. This one says, we are located outside the USA, but the bulk of our customers come from the USA. How does your partnership program take that into account so that we're not penalized for not having an office located in the USA? So that doesn't even matter where you have offices, or even if you have an office. Like, we don't list the number of offices that you have. I mean, I think you can provide that information if you want, but you're not going to be like filtered out because you don't have an office in the USA. That's, it won't affect you. All right, so I think we are now at the end of the questions, and it's just getting to be snide remarks. So we we appreciate everybody's time. And again, if you have feedback, feel free to reach out via email to me or Matt. I'll go back to the first slide so you can see our names. The email is just matt.hofstra and clint.patterson at DNN Software. And again, we hope the new partner program will be a good fit for everyone. But again, we're open to iteration and feedback. So thanks again for your time. Matt, you got any closing words?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to first the ecosystem. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today. We're going to grow together. This isn't any one force pushing the other. I think we've got the right people involved here to make a difference going forward. And also like to take time to pay a special thanks to Clint. He's been putting in a lot of hours working with all of our clients and all of our partners, trying to understand what's important in this program going forward. So Clint, really appreciate the work that you put into this.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. All right. We will see you guys online. Thanks for your time today.